Janell Elizabeth Proctor is here with us. She is running for state assembly. So Janell, welcome. Tell us who you are, where you are, and a little bit about your candidacy.
Yes, I am in the District 14, which is Contra Costa County and Solano County, and a little teeny bit of Napa, American Canyon. So I have about 500,000 constituents, and I'm very happy to be here to represent. A little bit about me: I come from a long line of missionary grandparents. They were actually missionaries to the Philippines, China, and India, and were rushed out in 1949 by Mao Zedong when he came to power. And then on the other side, my heritage is Swedish, and they immigrated from Sweden and were farmers. So that's a little bit about my upbringing. And then I'm the eldest of 7 children, and so I've worked hard to put myself through school and had a successful career for the last 20 years in the healthcare industry. And the reason why I'm running is I am just want to be representing the people. I felt there's a lack of representation for an alternative point of view, and I think that there's an opportunity to represent the people, and it's incumbent on us per our Constitution, not only in the United States, but the Constitution in California, to participate in that. And it's great because we don't have to have a heritage of being in politics or anything to participate. So here I am.
Okay, well, thanks very much, Janell. Thank you for being here. So I think I heard you say that you have a background in the healthcare industry. So I'd like to ask you, because of course healthcare is a big issue in this country, and including here in California. If you do get into the assembly, what do you think the state here should be doing or could be doing better, or maybe should just stay away from in terms of healthcare?
Yes, I think the 3 pillars of my campaign are compassion, conviction, and courage. And I definitely think, especially those with pre-existing conditions, I've had my own health challenges that I've had to overcome as well, do need support. And I'm actually in rare disease right now as a patient advocate. So I am very in tune with the struggles and challenges that are faced by many patients when they come to the end of the road and there's really no other treatment or surgeries available, and the costs have been very high. So I think in a compassionate way, I would like to see more health savings accounts. I think the high deductibles are very hard on all of us, and the costs. I injured myself actually earlier this year, and just one ER visit, that was my deductible. And I have the reserves to pay for that, but other folks don't. So I think a health savings account, something that rolls over, that can build. And so the good news is, if you don't need it, it's there waiting for you, available. But when you need to tap into it, it's also available. And I think some incentives too, of not to penalize people with pre-existing conditions or things that they can't help genetically, etc. But maybe, hey, if you improve your cholesterol by X amount, or you've your BMI, some type of incentive program as well that perhaps adds back into your health savings account, rather than just going back to the general overall healthcare. So people have a little more of a vested interest in being healthy, staying healthy, and then hopefully the healthier we are, we can help those who are sick with the cancer or things that are unfortunate that we come across.
Okay, so I know you're up in Contra Costa County, and people are very concerned about infrastructure issues up there, transportation. We've had some discussion about transportation today. Maybe you could tell me what you would do in the assembly with regard to infrastructure needs in California.
Yes, I myself commuted 4 hours a day, 2 hours both way down to Menlo Park. So I'm very aware of the infrastructure issues. And for one, I think we need to repeal the gas tax, because the way it was worded, the way it was phrased, everyone was confused, and our no really meant yes. And I think that the state does have enough money to allocate funds to, and should be using those appropriately, not taxing us more, and I have the toll cost. So, and a lot of other people are doing the same commute because that's why it took me 2 hours each way. So the infrastructure issues definitely, I think actually COVID is an interesting dynamic because it may change how we commute, how we work. I do think that we need to have more flexibility in the work hours and allow those who are able to work from home more of that opportunity. Those that want to go in the office, maybe you have staggered days with meetings, but I think we've reached a point with technology that we can really minimize a lot of these infrastructure issues until we can build up that infrastructure and maintain it appropriately. But it seems that we could stagger a lot of things, and I think COVID showed us that many businesses still okay. Those that struggled, maybe they need to adapt, but also maybe that's an opportunity for us to take a look at that as we're designing infrastructure for the future. But we definitely have the best engineers in the world here. We have Tesla, we've gone to space. So I think if we had a concerted effort, we could definitely find solutions to address that.
I notice another plank on your platform is an emphasis on jobs, and another big issue this year, especially because of the massive shutdowns, the shelter-in rules, some of the legislation. Is there something the state could be doing or not doing that might help the job situation in California?
Are you referring to AB 5?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I was teeing you up for that.
Yes, yes, so Assembly Bill 5, as many folks may or may not know, was originally for the Uber Lyft drivers with the independent workers. However, it ended up encompassing about over 300 folks that are independent contractors. So they've been a little bit of backtracking and tried to do some exclusions. One of those big groups is freelancers or journalists. And so the requirements have really been difficult. And the big thing is, on the surface, it sounds great. Oh, I'm a full-time employee with full-time benefits. However, as many of us know, most of our employers won't let us have 2 full-time jobs. So the independent contractor idea is to make money on a flexible schedule. Many women, in fact, are impacted by this because they tend to do these type of jobs as they're raising young families. And as the cost of California, the cost of living has increased, these jobs, these type of jobs have also increased. So I really strongly believe it needs to be repealed. It's just poorly written. It's a bad law. They are trying to compensate with Prop 22, but I still don't think it appropriately addresses all of the independent contract work that has been rolled up into that. They did take out some of the artists. As a former ballerina, and I worked in sales getting myself through college way back when as an independent contractor as well. So it's just very problematic. It needs to be repealed and we need to start over. But I think there are other ways. Again, that's what California's always been great at, is the independent businesses, the small business owners. And I definitely think we can keep harnessing that and make both the workers and the companies happy. But we need to go back to the drawing board.
Okay, well, thanks very much. So my last question is, if people want to get a hold of you or your campaign, how do they reach you?
Yes, first is my website, www.proctor, Proctor, with the number 4, assembly.com. And that's the best way to go there. And then I can be emailed, and there's a link to my Facebook page. And it is very grassroots. I'm an outsider. The incumbent, of course, has been at this much longer, so has more of an infrastructure with a campaign. So just be patient, but I would love volunteers, help of any way. And I look forward to representing all of you in Sacramento.
All right, thank you very much.